Hello everyone, Cable Sports Guy here again today, and we're here to recap Divisional weekend of the NFL. Now, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I do want to thank all of you for the support as we have started this new channel, and I appreciate every single last one of you guys. And if you guys are enjoying what you are seeing, make sure to like and subscribe as it helps me out more than you guys could ever know. So without further ado, let's go into the Divisional round recap. Now, the first game of divisional round weekend was between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs, and this game went pretty much as I expected it to go. The Jaguars were going to hang in there and keep things close, but I had a feeling the Chiefs were going to be able to escape with this one and get their victory and move on to the next round. However, there's a big thing here. First off, something I haven't seen anybody mention, but when I thought about it, it's very accurate. Mahomes has completed the AFC South gauntlet in the playoffs, beating the Jaguars, Colts, Texans, and the Titans all in the playoffs, which is an impressive feat on its own, beating a whole entire division in the playoffs. Three of those being in the divisional round, one of them being in the conference championship. So you take down another AFC South team and crush their dreams, just like that whole division crushes their own dreams every single year by being terrible. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars, this team has a bright future ahead of them, but they just simply were not ready to handle Kansas City. However, if you watch the game, you know of one big thing that's going to cost the Chiefs in the long run, and that's Patrick Mahomes' ankle injury. And that ankle injury can come back and bite the Chiefs in the butt. It's a high ankle sprain, and it's not something that looks good. If you watch that game, Mahomes did not look 100% like himself. He could not move out of that pocket. And it honestly made me wonder why the Jaguars weren't sending blitzes or being more aggressive with him. And another big mistake the Jacksonville Jaguars made in this game is just letting Kelsey do whatever you want. If you know one thing about the Chiefs offense, you don't let Kelsey just do whatever he wants and go do his thing. He had, I believe, 14 receptions and 2 touchdowns in this game. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have the stats right in front of me. However, it was insane how poor the Jacksonville Jaguars defense was at figuring out this KC offense, especially with a hobbled Patrick Mahomes. And frankly, it's something I thought they should have pounced on, and they honestly never did. The offense never got into a rhythm against a somewhat subpar Chiefs defense as well, in my opinion. So I was very shocked by that. It feels like the Jaguars were trying to do too much and get too cute at times, and they were just shooting themselves in the foot. Kansas City, you guys have earned your trip back to the AFC Championship game. Well deserved, at least. And pending how Bills-Bengals go, you guys are going to be either in KC or in Atlanta. Now for the Jaguars, you got a lot of things to figure out for next year. But on the bright side, you're done with Urban Meyer, and Doug Peterson is one heck of a head coach and can definitely still coach a football team, and he proved that this year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars, keep your heads up high. You have a very bright future ahead of you. Kansas City, I expect to see you guys playing really well, but want to see who your opponent is first off, and second off, how good is Mahomes going to be, and is he even going to be 100% ready to go for this game? I guess only time will tell. Now the next game on tap for the divisional round weekend, Giants versus the Eagles, an NFC East divisional matchup in the divisional round. So, only makes sense that these two teams are playing, and the speculation going into this game, would Jalen shoulder be ready to go? Will the Giants be able to expose another team that looks so good in the regular season and beat them again? Well, Jalen's shoulder is perfectly fine. Very well shown in this game as he absolutely just slung the ball around like it was nothing. And the Giants did not come and expose any fraudulent team because the Eagles pretty much just said, hey, we aren't frauds. The Eagles looked like the class of the NFL today in this game. And honestly, it should have the rest of the NFL worried if this is the Eagles we're going to get for the rest of the playoffs, because this team looked amazing. The Giants defense that has been really solid at times this year and has been really good at keeping their team in, contention for wins just did not look good at all. The Eagles defense held a Giants offense that has looked really good this year to 7 points in the whole game. And the fact that by the half the Eagles were up 28-zip shocked some people, but me, I kind of expected it. I thought the Eagles were going to come in here and dominate this game. I expected Hurts to really flourish from having that extra week to have his shoulder heal. And that's exactly what happened. The Eagles played well, and they played phenomenal. The Giants, in my opinion, you guys were a year ahead of schedule. You guys will be back. This team is great, and it's great foundation. It has a great coach leading it in Brian Dable, who probably will still win Coach of the Year. However, the Eagles are here, and they're ready to win a second Super Bowl. I don't know if anything's going to stop Philadelphia. However, Eagles, you guys enjoy your NFC Championship game in Philly. I know these Eagles fans are ready to see if the Eagles can really fly to the Super Bowl. Now we go to the most highly anticipated matchup of Divisional Round Weekend. The Bengals and the Bills, the matchup everybody's been waiting to watch. And with the snow falling, it's a beautiful sight on the screen. And Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense came out guns ablaze, and they were ready for a shootout. Everybody was ready for a shootout. So how does Buffalo respond? By laying quite literally the biggest goose egg I think we've ever seen. What happened? This game was supposed to be the game of the week. This was supposed to be the shootout, back and forth. This was supposed to be a game that topped last year's insane matchup in KC. And Buffalo looked, quite frankly, terrible. I was utterly shocked with what I saw in this game. I know the Bengals were good, but either one of two things is happening. Either the Bills are that far off and that bad and they just are terrible, or the Bengals are that good. If the Bengals are that good, Chiefs, you better start praying, because now they're going to Kansas City, and now the Bengals are looking to win 4 in a row against the Chiefs, and now Mahomes is hobbled and injured. Bengals, you guys look primed to go back to the Super Bowl. Buffalo, I don't even know where to start with you guys. You were the most hyped team in football going into this year, with all of the hype behind you guys after that divisional round game against KC last year. And the Bills came out and played terrible at home in their type of conditions they like to play in. And Joe Burrow, honestly, made himself look 1,000 times better than Josh Allen in this game, because the Bengals offense is phenomenal. And it's because of the guy behind center. Joe Burrow is the future of Cincinnati. As long as he's there and they can keep putting pieces around him to win, the Bengals are going to be contenders for a long, long time. And I don't care who has to say anything about that, because the Bills looked, quite frankly, terrible against a Cincinnati Bengals offense that just could not be stopped. Bills, you guys tried everything, but you really didn't as well. Figure some things out, Buffalo. However, as Joe Burrow said it, because now the AFC title game's in Kansas City, Buffalo in the NFL, send out those refunds. Now, the finale of Divisional Weekend. The Niners and the Cowboys, a rivalry renewed. We've all been waiting for this one. And people were waiting for this one because, let's be honest, the majority of America wanted to watch the Cowboys get destroyed. However, that didn't happen. The Cowboys actually kept it really close in this one. Prescott turned the ball over like you'd expect in any other game and made a ton of mistakes at certain times. And the Niners, their offense, however, didn't look as good as it has at points this season. Since having Brock Purdy, this team averages 35 points a game, and the Cowboys defense understood the assignment and showed up. I have to say, I was very impressed with what Dan Quinn had cooked up for this Cowboys defense, making Robbie Gould come out and kick field goals and keeping the Niners out of the end zone. Now, the Niners defense, while they couldn't stop the Cowboys on the first drive, which ended in Prescott almost taking one to the house, and then Prescott slinging it to Dalton Schultz for an early Cowboys touchdown, there was one question still to be answered. Could Brett Maher kick an extra point and make it? Well, let's see. Nope. I know it got blocked, but if you watch the replay, it was going left. So we'll never know if he actually would have made it or not because it was blocked, but still. Cowboys, you got to figure something out if you want to win this football game. Brock Purdy kind of didn't look like the Purdy that we've seen at times this year, and that makes sense. The Niners, you were waiting for the game where he kind of came down to earth a little bit, and he looked like a rookie in this game at times. He didn't turn the ball over, which was good. It would have been a lot more concerning if he turned the ball over. He was not Dak, who threw 2 picks in this football game, and he kept the ball in the Niners' possession. However, he wasn't making the awe-inspiring plays that would make you go, holy crap, this guy's a future NFL superstar. Not saying that he couldn't be. I'm just saying he definitely looked more like a rookie in this game. And the Cowboys, they have all the chances in the world to keep this one going, except Zeke forgot I got football right there. And Brett Maher, can he hit a field goal? He can. Now, if you're noticing one thing, unfortunately for Dallas, Tony Pollard went out of this game in the second quarter with a broken fibula, which really stinks. However, it doesn't help that they couldn't even stop George Kittle, who made probably the most impressive catch of the season. And one of the most impressive catches I've seen in a while, besides maybe Justin Jefferson's insane one-handed grab. But that catch led to the Niners finally finding the end zone with who else but CMC, Christian McCaffrey. The amazing trade acquisition the Niners got and really put them over the top. Now the Cowboys offense, all they had to do was find the end zone, but the Niners knew that, and they just kept him out of the end zone. And they said, you know what, we're going to ask you to have your kicker come and put points on the board. And surprisingly, he did just that. He got points on the board. Brett Maher was not missing kicks in this game besides the extra point. However, Robbie Gould turned around and made another field goal. So, how can the Cowboys respond? Can they actually end it? Well, they're going to hit Dalton Schultz to set up for a Hail Mary, except Schultz forgot one thing. You got to drag that right foot, buddy, and you have a catch instead of for a Hail Mary. Instead, it's incomplete. So what do the Cowboys do? Well, they're going to call the worst play I've seen in a long time, and they're going to lose the game on that? Are you kidding me, Dallas? That's 2 years in a row you've lost to the Niners by calling a stupid play. I honestly cannot believe it. Actually, I can believe it, because it's the Dallas Cowboys. So, you know what? That's going to leave me with one thing to say then. How about them Cowboys? So, that's Divisional Round weekend for you guys. And it was a solid weekend, honestly, of good football. Some games weren't as great as we anticipated them to be, but some games were really solid contests that were close to the end of it. And honestly, if the team that lost just made a couple adjustments, they could have easily won it. They didn't. So that leaves us with our Final Four for the conference championships. Representing the AFC in the conference championship game is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. Those two teams will be fighting for a Super Bowl appearance. And on the NFC side of things, the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles will be fighting to go to Super Bowl 57. Now, who wins those games? Well, let's start with the AFC. My pick for the AFC Championship game is the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to go with the Bengals to win this game, and it starts off with a obviously hobbled Patrick Mahomes is going to really derail the Chiefs, and second off, a Bengals offense that honestly does not look like it's going to slow down anytime soon scares me, and the fact that the Bengals have already beaten this team 3 times, and it doesn't look like they are wanting to lose now, should make the Chiefs a little bit concerned. And honestly, it's going to be really hard to take down a Cincinnati team that's playing this good. And, you know, if Mahomes is 100%, maybe I change it a little bit, but I think the Bengals are going to adjust and be ready for this game, and I think the Bengals can go to the Super Bowl. Now, who's going to be the team going against them between the Niners and the Eagles? My pick to go and meet the Bengals Super Bowl 57 is the San Francisco 49ers. I had the Niners picked to go to the Super Bowl since the beginning when I did the playoff predictions a couple weeks ago. And look, they're in the conference championship game for a reason. They're really good. I know Jalen Hurts and the Eagles looked profound and phenomenal in their game against the Giants, but I think the Niners defense is a little bit better, more well coached and more well rounded. And I think they're here to play hard and try to get back to the Super Bowl. I think Brock Purdy will clean up a little bit going against a little bit worse defense in Philadelphia. I think they have a worse defense than Dallas is, and I think the Niners will be ready for this game, and Shanahan's getting a game plan ready. So, that's my Super Bowl prediction, or picks at least, to go over the Super Bowl prediction. We'll have to officially see what happens next week in Conference Championship weekend. So, I will see you guys next weekend after the Conference Championship games. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you enjoyed it. And enjoy Conference Championship weekend. Peace out, everybody.